There's no stop signs or traffic of any kind out here, partner. It's just the expansive southern Arizona sky and an undulating road that could have been built just to exercise the talents of our two cars and drivers who are headed for their duel at the Inde MotorSports Ranch.
You know, there's something about the R8 that's just right. It's just the balance they found between performance and livability. But then the car just hauls.
Tanner, you're in the Audi R8. You got to feel like a little bit of a challenger going against the standard bearer, the Porsche 997 Turbo. You a little nervous?
Audi's come in with the R8, it's mid-engine, and now there are a lot of tuners out there, including EVOMS, that's putting some turbos in there. Around the corners, push the sports suspension, take the corner hard. It's epic.
Tanner's in an Audi today, pretty slick looking, got a really wide stance. It's pretty tough to beat these Porsches on the track and on the road.
Paul, you're in the EVT650, the Porsche 997 Twin Turbo. However, you would think that Tanner should have a disadvantage, but he said he's got an advantage because you're an old-tired guy in an old-tired car.
Listen, Tanner, one week we show up, he thinks he's James Bond. The next week he's here with the Iron Man car. This guy's like, lives on a movie set, I think. He lives in a fantasy world.
Paul has become increasingly difficult to live with. He's just a bad winner.
You hit the gas and you feel the turbos just rush in and just the car just catapults like you're shot out of a cannon. Sick power in this car.
I know this is going to be a beast. It's got something for that 997.
I think it's going to be a good battle.
Building on a time-tested Porsche turbo platform, Paul's EVT650 makes 150 more horses than stock by virtue of upgraded Evolution MotorSports intelligent tuning software, variable turbine geometry turbos, club sports headers, billet aluminum diverter valves, and 70mm exhaust. Tanner's Audi R8 Twin Turbo 650 weighs a bit more, but has its sights aimed directly at the Porsche Turbo. Only in the first stage of development, Evolution MotorSports added twin Garrett GT turbos, EVOMS intercooler, stainless steel headers, and much more to Audi's normally aspirated V8. Round one of our matchup is the 0 to 100 to 0 event on a straight section of the Inde MotorSports Ranch track. In this test of acceleration and braking, Tanner and Paul line up head-to-head, sprint to 100 miles per hour, and then mash the brakes.
Well, you heard that. The storm clouds are brewing here for the 0 to 100 to 0.
All-wheel drive out of the hole quick, and then use those German brakes.
Now, that car's usually normally aspirated. They've tuned it, put a twin turbo in there. How's that going to affect the 0 to 100 to 0?
Yeah, the internals of the Porsche engine are, of course, built for that increased air, and the internals for the Audi are very specifically not built for that.
Now, 0 to 100 to 0, what is your strategy, and what gear do you hope to be in when you hit 100?
Well, obviously, both cars four-wheel drive, both have turbos, both have launch control. I'm going to just mash the gas and mash the brake, and I think the Porsche is going to have what it takes.
Paul, are you ready?
I need to get a good start here.
Ted, are you ready?
All right, launch control set. Oh, Paul got the launch.
Holy crap, this thing's fast.
The Porsche way ahead, and first on the brake.
That's 650 horsepower of angry twin turbos.
That was an absolute kicking beyond all recognition.
Think out of the box. Let's figure out how to get a little bit of, squeeze a little power out of this.
I don't know, we could throw some ice in here, let it just sit there, and, you know, maybe cooling the air across the intercooler radiator.
Okay.
We could try some stuff.
Let's do that.
The data confirms what we saw, the Porsche's impressive speed and stopping power.
All right, Paul, I'm not even going to get excited for you because I know you're excited for yourself. A second and a half faster, 100 feet quicker on the 0 to 100. You embarrassed him.
It wasn't really so much me, it was a lot of the car. EVOMS Motorsports Porsche 997.2 is a flat-out rocket. This is probably one of the fastest cars I've ever driven, and just a thrill.
All's well for Paul as he put the first point on the Michelin Battle of the Supercars scoreboard. Welcome back to Battle of the Supercars and our matchup between two tuned German turbo coupes in southern Arizona.
How did you work your magic to win this event?
All I can do is simply find exactly the right gear to launch in from 60 miles an hour and make sure I'm at exactly the right RPM. I'm just going to hit it on the exact rev and keep my fingers crossed.
Paul, obviously you got the horsepower going into the roll-on 60 to 130. Tanner would make us believe he's bringing a golf cart to this fight. How do you not be overconfident?
EVOMS Motorsports does a fantastic job. They've got this car tuned to perfection. I can't wait to put it to Tanner.
Now, what's your sweet spot at 60? Do you want what RPMs and what gear do you want to be in?
Well, the PDK transmission is going to pick where it wants to be at about 60 miles an hour, and it shifts so quick that I just hang on to the steering wheel and let the car do all the work.
Okay, it's on, brother. Tanner is looking for an edge. Turning onto the straight.
Air conditioning off, sports button pushed.
Got to make a good launch here.
And there's 60. That Porsche is a missile. Whoa!
And that's it, baby. It's all over but the crying. Crying in the milk. All the way. Porsche, the German giant, too strong.
He demolished me.
Well, there's no sugarcoating these numbers. The Audi is obviously suffering from a little heat stroke.
Paul, a full 3 seconds. It looked ugly. It was ugly. You're just enjoying yourself now, aren't you?
I thought it was a beautiful thing. It wasn't ugly in any way, shape, or form.
Now, when Tanner's out there, can you hear him screaming and yelling in the other car?
Just see the tears flowing through the windshield, and no mercy. There's no more mercy. We're getting more serious. These battles are getting more intense. I didn't even have to turn off the air conditioner. It was on full blast. I was chilled out in there. Tanner had the AC off. He was trying to water down his intercoolers and his motor and reflash the computer, and it's got nothing for the Porsche. So I'm in hog heaven right now.
Paul leads 2-0 over Tanner Foust twin turbo Audi R8 with wins in the 0 to 100 to 0 event in round 1 and the 60 to 130 mile per hour roll-on in round 2. Round 3 is a door-to-door duel on the road course. This is a twisted single-lap test of driver cunning and supercar handling. The first car to complete a 0.78-mile, 8-turn section of the Inde MotorSports Ranch North Circuit wins.
But now the road course is coming up. You're a drifter. You can do something crazy out there, right?
I've spent a lot of time in this car on courses, and it's phenomenal. It can carry a lot of momentum through the corners, so my goal here is going to be to carry mid-corner speed and not rely on the horsepower quite as much as Paul is. Paul thinks this is over. He's like packing his bags. He's making air flight reservations to get home early and everything. This is absolutely not over.
Paul, Tanner's had a lot of work in that Audi. We're on the north course here at Indy, a short course, 0.78 of a mile. He thinks he's got you here, brother.
Well, he's going to need to win the lottery if he thinks he's got me, because we've got some brand new Michelins on there. The car's ready to go. It's track tuned. This is really what the car's meant to do. I can't wait to get on the road course here at the Inde MotorSports Ranch. This is a section of the track we haven't run yet, but I really feel it's right up the Porsche's alley.
Paul, are you ready?
All right, here we go.
Tanner, are you ready?
Oh, that dirty jumped to start on me. He just jumped it totally.
PT only has this one lap to get around Tanner. Tanner has Paul blocked up the hill.
I got to get by him.
He's right on my tail here.
Paul is right on the edge, looking for a line past Tanner.
Oh, he dive-bombed me.
PT in front now.
Got him.
Into the big right-hander, then left. Tracy has the juice. Last hill up and down to the finish. It's curtains for the kid. Porsche Paul gets it done.
Ooh, that was a close race.
The times are close, but crossing the line first is what counts.
Tanner, coming off the line, you were out ahead. It looked like he was performing brilliantly.
I knew I had to get a little bit of a jump, so I hosed him a little bit on the start, but sure enough, he took a pretty aggressive move into the hairpin, dive bombed me on the inside. It was a great pass. It worked out well, and I just couldn't hang with him after that.
Apparently, the altitude is affecting your car more than his, correct?
It is. It affects them both. The Porsche being a factory turbo is able to compensate a lot more than, you know, kind of a phase one development Audi. I think even just in as much as 6 months to a year, this car could be a Porsche beater.
Paul, 1.1 second victory, but I got to tell you, you had to be sweating when he got off the line ahead of you.
Yeah, he took off and dropped the hammer, I think as you were raising the flag to drop it. So he caught me off guard. He knew that the Porsche had him off the line, and he knew he had to get out front.
Of course, the Porsche EVT650 is doing just fine as Paul puts up his 3rd point on the Michelin Battle of the Supercars scoreboard after his round 3 road course win. Welcome back to Battle of the Supercars and our tuned twin turbo matchup of German sports cars. Paul Tracy's Evolution MotorSports Porsche EVT650 is leading Tanner's Evolution MotorSports Twin Turbo Audi R8 3-0 after round 3. Tanner has a plan for a comeback, so we head across the high desert of southern Arizona in search of cooler Audi air for round 4.
The runway here at the Bisbee Douglas International Airport just north of Mexico is 6,540 feet long, which is just long enough to run our Audi R8 Twin Turbo and our EVT650 Porsche 997 Twin Turbo in our head-to-head rolling mile.
In this event, Tanner and Paul line up together, turn right onto the runway, and then it's hammer down. First car to cross the mile marker wins it. Temperatures are down, which should help Tanner. But the crosswinds are up.
Paul, so far so good in that Porsche. Now we're on the rolling mile here. You get to use all the assets that car has, don't you?
The Porsche has been performing flawlessly. Obviously, the car is bad. It does everything great.
You're going to hit some pretty good speeds. What do you think you'll hit here?
In a mile, probably close to 190, I hope.
Are you worried about that shutdown? Not a lot of room down there.
Yeah, there's not a ton of room, so we don't have a lot of space to get it shut down, but I'm going to be feeding Tanner Stuttgart sausage all day.
Tanner, Paul's pretty confident. He knows he's got a slight horsepower advantage any way you slice it. How do you approach this event?
One of the big nemesis of the Audi today has been just intake heat. And so it's actually cooled off like 10, 15 degrees. That's my only hope right now, is that I get a little extra horsepower from that cooler temperature and I'm able to put him down.
Well, to show you how cocky Paul is, he says he's the only one that has to worry about the short shutdown because you're going to be so far behind him, he's not even going to see you in his rearview mirror.
I'm just going to run right in the back of him. Just finish it. Just be done with it once and for all.
On the taxiway.
All right, we got the right gear. We got the right there.
There's the turn, and time to fly.
Oh, we got a good launch.
Tanner's in front, but can he stay there?
Paul is just yanking me, though. Come on, Audi, do it!
Oh, yeah, he's got nothing for me. Porsche's just even out on him. So here we are, we're pulling up on 130. Got a little crosswind, the car's starting to move just a hair.
Wow, he is walking away.
I'm so far in front of him, it's almost ridiculous.
Going fast, though. 6th gear, 170 miles an hour.
Whoa! Ripping across the line, Tracy takes it.
That's a wrap.
170 mile per hour plus speeds in 650 horsepower cars at high altitude is awesome. Paul Tracy and his Porsche Turbo EVT650 post a 4-zip shutout over Tanner Foust's twin turbo Audi R8 on the Michelin Battle of the Supercars scoreboard.
Tough day all around, but I know you're still very impressed with this Audi R8.
There's no doubt. We threw it a little bit of a twister there by bringing it out to high altitude and high temperature. You know, the car that's early in its development phase. I think this Audi has wicked potential. I'd love to do this battle again once we get to phase 2 of their development.
Well, speaking of wicked, I could hear him gloating over there. Mr. Paul Tracy in the Porsche 997, almost 180 miles per hour in that rolling mile.
Now, you know, I'm really feeling for Tanner. Obviously, he brought a new car to the battle. This Porsche is tried and tested, and you know, he's acting like I ate his only child for lunch. But Evolution MotorSports guys, they've got this car down to a science. Man, this thing is just awesome.
And awesome is what we think of you for watching us. Congratulations to Tanner, congratulations to Paul, but at least for today, Paul in the Porsche 997 was the winner here on Battle of the Supercars.